Now, a meeting between China's top diplomat and Russia's foreign minister is about to get underway in Moscow. Wang Yi is set to meet with Sergei Lavrov. The talks coming just days out from the one-year anniversary of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Wang has been attending a series of meetings in Moscow, yesterday telling one of President Putin's closest allies that Beijing's relationship with Russia is, quote, rock solid. A Kremlin spokesperson says a meeting between Wang and Putin is also possible. Well, joining us for more on Wang Yi's visit to Moscow is journalist Fabian Kretschmer in Beijing. Fabian, Wang Yi is meeting today with Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov. Officially, what is this meeting about?
Yeah, so this meeting is rather secretive in nature. We didn't know until last minute when Wang Yi will actually land in Moscow, who he's going to meet, etc. But it's safe to assume that the meeting serves basically three purposes. The one is, of course, to demonstrate the close ties between China and Russia. Wang Yi already yesterday said that they have a rock-solid friendship. And secondly, I think Wang Yi wants to pave the way for a visit of state leader Xi Jinping, who will meet with Vladimir Putin. We don't know exactly when it will happen, but definitely this year. And thirdly, I mean, China recently said that it will present a so-called peace initiative and will, present its position on how to solve the Ukraine war. And I'm sure that behind closed doors, when Wang Yi talks with Lavrov, he will probably ask for support and coordination.
Yeah, what do those words mean from Wang Yi, stating those relations between Moscow and Beijing are rock solid? What do they mean, if anything, for China's plan to be involved in that peace settlement?
Yeah, I mean, many Europe state leaders are very skeptical about the role of China and whether it can really help negotiating a peace or, act as a mediator, because on the one hand, yes, you can argue that China has leverage over Russia, mostly because Russia is increasingly economically dependent on China. But I would also not, over-exaggerate this leverage that China has over Russia. And on the same time, it's very obvious that China is not a neutral player, as it claims. It, has consistently repeated Russian propaganda. It doesn't even talk about a war. It basically calls this conflict the Ukraine crisis and so on. So you can clearly see that, China is what experts call pro-neutral, but on the Russia side, so pro-Russian neutrality, I mean. So it's really very complex and difficulty. Many people actually say very cynically that China is basically trying to, present itself as a responsible state actor, but that this peace initiative will not be very substantial.
A responsible state actor. Putin announced yesterday he was suspending the nuclear arms treaty New START. Is that a stance that could prove problematic for China and its global relationships?
Well, just now this topic was raised during the daily press conference of the foreign ministry here in Beijing, and the answer, the official statement, was basically that this treaty is a treaty of very big importance, and that Beijing hopes that this issue can be resolved. So of course this is not in Beijing's interest if Putin suspends this treaty, but I mean it was not really a very open criticism. It was very subdued and indirect.
Journalist Fabian Kretschmer in Beijing, thank you. Joining us now is DW Russia analyst Konstantin Eggert. Konstantin, China's top diplomat Wang Yi is meeting today with the Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov. Officially, what is this meeting about?
Well, it is, as always, in Russian-Chinese relations, the agenda is cloaked in this generalities, bilateral ties, bilateral interests, stuff like that. But I think that it's correct to assume that this is a very important visit. Wang Yi, who's been promoted from just foreign minister, just a diplomat, to essentially top foreign policy coordinator of the whole of the Chinese regime, has been meeting with President Zelensky before. And there are rumors that eventually China, maybe Chairman Xi Jinping, may present a peace plan, a plan of mediation between Russia and Ukraine. And I suppose that if Wang Yi does meet Putin, as I said, is possible, then we are really on the cusp of some kind of a major initiative, which is something that probably also the Americans would like to see.
China says it's seeking a role in a possible peace settlement between Russia and Ukraine. If so, how much influence does China really have over Russia?
Well, Russia's been increasingly dependent on China over the last years, not only after the full-scale invasion of Ukraine last year. And this dependence now deepened, with Russia very much depending on China on essentially buying its energy supplies, its hydrocarbons. But I do not think, personally, that China is as influential as to push Vladimir Putin towards some kind of meaningful settlement in which he will have to give away something significant to Ukraine. I do not think Putin is ready for it. And frankly speaking, I do not think Zelensky and the Ukrainian people are ready for it. I think that China may present its initiative, but I don't have high hopes for it.
So what then does Russia want? What is Russia hoping to get from Wang Yi's visit?
Well, as always, it presents the image of a country that is not in isolation. It talks to China, it talks to Indonesia, it talks to South Africa. Actually, I think it's very interesting how active Lavrov, especially, was in gathering support around the world for Moscow among the so-called global South. Brazil, Nigeria, and so on and so forth. So I think that what Moscow wants to show, it's not isolated, and secondly, is what it will want to show, and I'm sure that the Russian communiques will be sort of formulated in such a way. It wants to show that it is not only not alone, but it is in fact supported by Beijing.
DW's Konstantin Eggert, thank you so much.
Thank you.